Imagine building a billion-dollar empire only to watch it crumble before your eyes. That's exactly what happened to Dunkin' Donuts. A brand that once ruled the coffee and donut world found itself struggling to stay relevant. But here's the twist. Dunkin' pulled off one of the biggest comebacks in the food industry. And in this video, we're breaking down exactly what went wrong, the brutal mistakes that almost led to their downfall, and the genius moves that saved them. And if you're facing struggles in your own journey, stick around, because Dunkin's story is filled with powerful lessons that might just help you turn things around. Oh, and we'll sprinkle in a little laughter, just like they sprinkle those donuts. Because, well, what's life without a little sweetness? Welcome to Roots to Riches, the channel that uncovers the secrets behind the success of the world's greatest companies. From their humble beginnings to their toughest battles, we reveal how they turned struggles into triumphs. Don't miss out. Subscribe and enable notifications so you're always first to hear these incredible stories. Let's inspire others together by sharing these journeys with those who need a spark of motivation. Thanks for being part of this growing community of dreamers and achievers. Back in 1950, Dunkin' Donuts started as a simple coffee and donut shop in Quincy, Massachusetts. Its founder, William Rosenberg, had one goal: serve high-quality coffee and donuts fast. And for decades, it worked like a charm. Dunkin' became the go-to morning stop for millions. But here's where things started going wrong. Success made Dunkin' comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of growth. Mistake number 1, ignoring competition. Dunkin' underestimated how aggressive competitors like Starbucks and McDonald's would get in the coffee market. While Starbucks positioned itself as the high-end coffee experience and McDonald's launched McCafe, Dunkin' stuck to its old-school approach, losing out on a younger audience. Mistake number 2, overexpansion. Dunkin' tried to open stores everywhere without solidifying its brand identity. The result? Some locations failed to meet quality standards, leading to bad customer experiences. Mistake number 3, brand confusion. Was it a donut shop, a coffee shop, a fast food place? The brand struggled to define itself, while others were laser-focused on their strengths. These mistakes led to declining sales, store closures, and even talks of bankruptcy. And if you've ever felt like you were losing control of something you worked so hard for, well, Dunkin' knows exactly how that feels. So how did Dunkin' turn things around? Well, they did what every great comeback story does. They made a bold decision. Enter Nigel Travis, the man with a plan. When he took over as CEO in 2009, he didn't just tweak a few things. He completely restructured Dunkin's approach. Here's what he did. 1. Rebranded the entire company. In 2019, Dunkin' Donuts officially dropped donuts from its name. This wasn't just a name change, it was a declaration. Dunkin' was now focused on coffee, and they weren't afraid to compete with Starbucks. 2. Streamlined the menu. Instead of trying to be everything for everyone, Dunkin' focused on its core strengths: coffee and breakfast. Number 3, tech revolution. They went all in on mobile ordering, loyalty programs, and drive-through efficiency, making it easier than ever for people to grab their coffee on the go. 4, embraced a younger audience. Dunkin' collaborated with social media influencers, TikTok stars, and even ran viral campaigns. Because let's be honest, if your brand isn't making memes, are you even marketing? 5, the power of partnerships. Dunkin' struck major partnerships, like working with Beyond Meat to launch plant-based breakfast sandwiches, tapping into a growing health-conscious audience. Dunkin' Donuts might be a powerhouse today, but its journey wasn't always smooth. Here are some hidden facts about its struggles that many don't know. Number 1, the franchise disaster, 1955 to 1970s. In its early years, Dunkin' Donuts aggressively expanded through franchising, but poor oversight led to inconsistency in quality and branding. Some franchisees even cut corners, selling subpar coffee and donuts. This nearly destroyed the brand's reputation, forcing Dunkin's leadership to buy back failing stores and tighten control over franchise operations. Number 2, the 1990s identity crisis. In the late 90s, Dunkin' Donuts struggled to compete with Krispy Kreme's rising popularity. Instead of innovating, Dunkin' stuck to old strategies, losing customers to its sweeter, trendier competitor. They realized they needed a shift, less focus on donuts, more on coffee. Number 3, the Starbucks war. early 2000s. Starbucks' third-wave coffee movement changed consumer expectations. Customers wanted premium handcrafted drinks, while Dunkin' was still known for fast, affordable coffee. Dunkin' had to rebrand itself, pushing espresso-based drinks and modernizing its stores to stay competitive. Number 4. The 2008 near collapse. During the 2008 financial crisis, Dunkin' lost a significant portion of its customer base as people cut back on daily coffee runs. Private equity firms took over Dunkin', implementing drastic cost-cutting measures and revamping the business model. The lesson? Dunkin' Donuts survived because it adapted, pivoted, and embraced reinvention. If a struggling donut chain can rise again, so can you. Dunkin's turnaround wasn't the first of its kind. Some of the greatest brands in history have had their near-death moments. Let's talk about 2. Apple, 1997. Apple was on the brink of bankruptcy before Steve Jobs returned and completely changed the game. He simplified the product line, focused on innovation, and launched the iMac, iPod, and eventually the iPhone. The lesson? Sometimes less is more. Focus on what you do best. Lego, 2003. Lego was losing millions trying to expand into theme parks, video games, and even clothing. But they turned things around by doubling down on their core strength, building blocks. And today, they're thriving. The lesson? Stick to your roots, but evolve smartly. If Dunkin' can rise again, so can you. Dunkin' was on the brink of collapse. Stores were closing, customers were vanishing, and the brand was losing relevance. But instead of accepting defeat, they reinvented themselves, refocusing on their strengths, embracing change, and making bold decisions. Today, they're stronger than ever. Now, think about your own journey. Maybe you face setbacks in business, personal goals, or even life itself. Maybe you've hit a wall and doubt is creeping in. But here's what Dunkin's comeback teaches us. Failure is never final, unless you quit. Reinvention isn't just possible. Sometimes it's necessary. Your strengths are your foundation. Double down on them. Adapt, pivot, evolve. Stagnation is the real danger. Now ask yourself, what's one thing I need to let go of? What's one thing I need to focus on? Because sometimes the only thing standing between you and a comeback is a decision. Dunkin' could have disappeared, but instead they chose to fight back, evolve, and reclaim their spot in the coffee world. Today, they serve millions of customers and their stock has skyrocketed. And here's the real reward. If they can do it, so can you. So the next time you're sipping your morning coffee, remember, you're never out of the game unless you decide to be. And hey, if nothing else, at least we learned one thing today. Coffee and donuts can teach us about survival. And if that's not a delicious lesson, I don't know what is. If this video gave you value, hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring business stories. And drop a comment below. What's one lesson you're taking away from Dunkin's comeback? Let's talk about it. And remember, your comeback story starts today. See you in the next one.